All right. Ready?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it, Ashley.
All right, YouTube, I believe we're live. And
Awesome.
I'd like to get some feedback on the YouTube chat. So if you're watching live on YouTube, send us a hello. Reach out to us. Tell us that you can see us. It is noon. If I'm honest, it's a couple minutes past noon, Central Standard Time. We are excited to be together once again. I'm excited to do Arbitrage Q&A. Ahan, if that's how you say it, I see you're high. Can everybody see us? Can you hear us? I'm here with Allan Urizar. Allan, say hi to our folks.
How are you, everybody? I hope you guys are doing awesome.
Awesome. Mary Jane, she says she sees me. That's good news. Bezad, Bobby, welcome, guys. I missed you last week. Allan took over the reins and had Regina on the show, and I'm grateful that they stood in for me. I was on vacation with my family at a camp and really kind of out of touch with reality for a while, which was nice. It was a great time. Ashley, I see you. Ido, Maui TV, aloha. Are you coming to us from Hawaii? That would be pretty fun. We're going to get started here in just a minute.
Awesome.
We are here to do Arbitrage Q&A. So what I want you to do is to be thinking about what are your questions concerning arbitrage. There are a lot of ways that you can sell on Amazon. Allan and I both have found great success selling on Amazon. It's been a real journey for us to discover that you can find margin. You can create margin in your budget to do extra things that maybe one day you dreamed about, and now they're actually becoming reality for you, one step at a time. So neither Allan nor I figured out how to make $1 million in 2 months or something like that. But I can speak for myself to say that I took baby steps. I was intimidated. I'm conservative by nature, so I wasn't a big risk taker. But I became convinced that selling on Amazon was a great opportunity. And I became convinced that I could do it one step at a time without massive investment. So I like and have always liked arbitrage as a great lane in which to sell on Amazon. You can do wholesale, you can do drop shipping, you can do private label where you're creating your own brand. We're not against any of those. In fact, some of us have diversified our portfolio and we work in multiple lanes, so to speak. But kind of when it comes to Allan and I, the thing that we really get excited about is arbitrage, and it dovetails really well with any other efforts that we're trying to make to sell on Amazon. And so we're here to promote selling on Amazon. Number one, take advantage of the fact that there is this massive marketplace that is international and that every household is tapped into. So if you are selling on Amazon, you're reaching just hundreds of thousands of people potentially with your products. And we're encouraging you to do arbitrage, which is simply finding discounted products in one market. So leveraging this market over here where the product is inexpensive and then turning around and selling it at a different market at a higher price. And that market that we recommend, of course, is the Amazon marketplace. And we're just seeing that with some creativity and knowing how to think about the numbers, you can really leverage those two markets and make good money. And what Amazon has created is Amazon FBA, where they fulfill all the orders, which means you take all the items you purchase, you get them to an Amazon fulfillment center, and now they're fulfilling all the orders so that you can scale your business. You can sell over 1,000 items a month, and you're not shipping any of them. You're not touching them each time you sell them. Amazon's taking care of all the work, doing customer service. So that's what we do. And if you want answers to any of your questions about that, we're here to do the best we can. Allan and I both are advocates of building a long-term business with your e-commerce enterprise. So if you have business questions or questions about mind and heart, I'm a big proponent of just getting your heart right, thinking right, so that you're really, really doing well as far as your attitude and your thought process, because if you're going to do this long term and actually develop margin, it's going to be hard, and you're going to encounter obstacles, and you're going to run into things that you don't know how to troubleshoot, and you're going to have to kind of take 2 steps back before you take 3 steps forward. And we want to be here to help. So we're also promoting a new membership that we have with Just One Dime called Amazon Arbitrage Mastery. It's a great membership. It has tons of videos, over 60 videos of course content, another 40 to 50 videos of bonus material and weekly ninja strategies. We try to keep the membership current through video updates. There is a great community that can help you. There's all kinds of resources. It's just a really great membership. And so click the link below, take a look at that. And we really encourage you to get involved in something like that. It's really a minor investment when it comes to how it could multiply the potential margin you could create, and when it comes to gathering a community of people around you to help you. Both Allan and I have benefited massively from the community at Just One Dime. So now there's a membership for Arbitrage, and we want you to be a part of it. We think it's really exciting. It's less than $1,000 to be a member for the whole year, and I'm telling you, that money will come back to you and then some if you make the commitment. So Allan, just say a few words by way of introduction. Tell us what you've been up to in the last week, and then we'll get rolling with some questions. And I have a couple products that I want to take a look at, but
sure, man.
Give you the floor for a couple minutes first.
Awesome. And I'm excited because, we're always learning, not just, teaching you guys our experience, based on our experience, but also learning. And I have been learning a lot these past few months, because we've been trying to build our business to the next level, and it's been a very exciting process, and we've been hiring more people and trying to build our inventory. And I was actually with a group of our members this morning, and somebody was asking me how much inventory I have, and I was kind of sharing with them a few days of our last sales for this week, but it was it kind of, I was kind of getting blown away because for about 2.5 years, or maybe the first 2 years of our business, my goal was always to have to get to 1,000 products on Amazon. We try to do everything FBA, but it's really hard when you start selling and you keep sending inventory and of course the way that I always recommend buying product, it's very hard to get over 1,000 units of inventory on Amazon, because I don't like to buy 20, 30, 50 units of one item. So I only have 2-3 items of each ASIN. So in order to get to 1,000 items is really, it can be really hard when you're selling items all the time. So that was for the first 2 years, and then this whole year, the last 7 months, I've been trying to build it higher and bigger. And somebody was asking me, and I didn't really have look at my inventory, but I have close to 4,000 or a little bit over 4,000 products on my Amazon account right now. And of course my sales increased to the last week I've been selling close to $2,000 every day, every day for the last week. So the sales have increased, but I was really looking at those numbers, trying to figure out how many products I have, because one of the members was asking. But I was like, oh my God, this is actually working. So, for the last 7 months, and it's been building a little bit, little by little, but it's actually really exciting to see the results, because, sales keep coming in. There's a lot of things that we're always learning. Like I was sharing with the group a few things that were happening on my account, and I kind of showed them all of that. But it is exciting because, that same opportunity that I have here, you have in your city. Everybody has in their own city, even if you live outside the United States. So that's really a great opportunity that I don't think, in the last 20 years, we've had such an opportunity to be able to, not just start a business, but grow a business that it's, $1 million plus business from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's right. That's so good, Allan. we encounter people consistently that say arbitrage is dead. Selling on Amazon has gone the way of the dinosaur. It's if you haven't started selling now, you've missed the boat. You can't find products. You can't find good products that are going to sell and really make you money. And I mean, people are entitled to their opinion, and I don't want to come across mean or cynical, but I think the problem is that those individuals must have approached arbitrage wrong or with a misunderstanding when it came to their mindset. I mean, there certainly are days and maybe even weeks when I'm doing arbitrage that it feels like it's true. It feels like, man, at least in my local town, it feels like arbitrage is dead because I'm beating the pavement, I'm scanning items, I'm not finding things. But if you're willing to zoom out more than a day or a week and take a look at the big picture, I mean, I'm encountering opportunities all over the place. And I love, Allan, that you're setting the example and really setting the pace for saying, I want to scale my business. I want to find more opportunities, and with some effort and some creativity. And again, the help of a community. I mean, Allan's not just sitting in a vacuum trying to figure out how to do this all by himself. He's investing in different tools. He's investing in different training programs and communities. And now he's finding all kinds of opportunities, and he's learned how to generate his own opportunities, and he's making massive gains with his business. So I just want to continue to push back on this notion that there's not an opportunity here. And I think Allan's right. It's exactly the opposite. We've got one of the best opportunities in the history of mankind. When could you mine your product in Vermont and within a week sell it to somebody who is 3,000 miles away? I mean, we live in a day where you can do that effectively, and 3,000 miles is conservative. You could even make a greater sale. So you're leveraging these massive markets. And so we want to continue to encourage you with that. And I want to show you some products that I have that I found within the last week. One is a purple dragon. This is a stuffed animal, and we're going to look at this in a minute. It's actually a storytelling dragon that has the ability to read certain books. So we're going to look at that in a minute. We've got this product. I bought this at a yard sale about 4 hours ago. It's a Rubbermaid hidden recycler. Paid $5 for this bad boy. Brand new, clean, never been opened. All they did is put a little $5 price tag on there, and I bought it. And one more. How about a book? Again, found this at a yard sale. I don't know that the kid ever opened it. Ultimate Dinopedia, no marks on the inside. The dust jacket is mint. I mean, you would think I went to Barnes & Noble and bought this puppy, but I bought it at a yard sale, $1. So let's look at these products really quick. I'm going to share my screen, and I just want to show you that in the last week, these are items that I encountered. In fact, 2 of them that I bought at yard sales, I bought 3 or 4 hours ago while I was tooling around Vermont in the minivan with my daughter and my son. They helped me find them. And usually when I buy these deals at yard sales for the purpose of arbitrage, I get the person at the yard sale to throw in a couple toys for my kids free. So they always like to come along. It's like they're
that's good.
Yeah, it incentivizes the children to behave while I'm doing arbitrage. We have a fun morning of it. But I mean, take a look here. Here is the Dalton storytelling dragon. Look at the BSR on this, 31,561 in toys and games. That's a fantastic BSR. I bought 7 of these. Allan would have bought 2, but I bought 7 of them, and I bought these for $5. So I mean, take a look at this with me. Let me put that in here. RevSeller is a nice tool because it helps you make a calculation. Right there, it shows you what is the ROI, 362%. So again, I've got people all the time telling me you can't find products at an ROI of 100%. Or if you do, then all the fees you've got to pay. By the way, this is after Amazon fees are already calculated in, but they're saying after you buy supplies, after you ship it to a fulfillment center, your margin is so small, how can you make money? Well, I'm telling you, I bought 7 of these for $5 each, and with a BSR like that, I promise you I'm going to sell all 7 of these certainly by the end of September, and I'm making $18 pure profit off of each one. And this was just one product that I found this week, among many others. How about that Rubbermaid hidden recycler that I found at a yard sale and also paid $5 for? I mean, look at this. Let's see what the ROI comes out to here. 284%.
Can you zoom in a little bit on that screen?
Yeah, I should know how to do that right off the top of my head.
Just click on the red icon on the browser, on the top corner, right there, and then go to zoom and go to like 110 or 120 maybe. There you go.
All right, yeah, that's helpful for our viewers, I'm sure. I mean, again, we like RevSeller. We advocate for RevSeller because basically it's a Chrome extension that gets embedded right into your browser, and it gives you all the relevant information that you need at one glance. So I can look at this and I can see, one, I'm not gated or restricted. It says sell new in green, and I can make my sale. I can list it. It tells me the BSR. It allows me to calculate ROI and to know what my margin is going to be. It's got the ASIN right there. You can click on sell new and it immediately takes you right to Amazon Seller Central, and you can list the product. It takes you directly to that listing. So, right now this is selling for $29.99, but that's an FBM offering. So from my perspective, I could go in there and list the product I would probably sell it at $31.95. And I know if I'm using FBA that I can set my price a couple dollars higher. I usually think about 5% higher, and I can win the buy box and certainly make the sale.
Well, you can see right there that the average for the last 90 days is $37. So you can even go higher than that, as high as 37, and still people are willing to pay that because there's history. And of course, to be able to compete, you don't want to go that high because there's an FBM seller at 29, but you can certainly go to like, $32, $33 and still be able to compete.
Yeah, that's right. And I've got room that I could set my price a little higher. I mean, I could put it in at $39.95 if I want to, and if it didn't sell right away, I can lower it. But I mean, it was just a fantastic product that I found at a yard sale. And then I don't want to take up too much of our time, but I'll show us this third one here. This is that book. I mean, 25,000 in books is insane.
Yes.
Books is an enormous category. I buy books at 8 or 900,000 sometimes if they're really good margin. And I know it's not going to take a lot to sell it because books are it's a huge category. And even though it's not, the main focus of what Amazon does anymore, they still do a ton of books. But I mean, I bought this in mint condition for $1, and it's selling for $22.49, and I'm going to make 1,000% ROI or something. Here's my point. And let me stop sharing my screen so you can look me in the eye when I say this. I just think there's evidence that there's really good opportunities around. And so these didn't come difficult to me. I was in a retail store and I found that Purple Dragon as well as a handful of other items and left having spent $196 on a variety of items from that one retail store. They aren't all giving me an ROI of 300%, but every item is over 100% ROI. I can say it for sure. I don't think there's an exception to that if my memory serves me. And then some yard sales this morning. It is a beautiful Vermont day. I had a really nice time with my kids, and we found some deals. And my kids got a couple stuffed toys to play with, and we just had a fun morning. And I'm finding really good deals. They're all over the place. You just gotta go out there and find out where they are, and have a mindset that says, I'm on a treasure hunt. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to have fun with it, and I'm not going to kind of get sideways or grumpy about the fact that there may be seasons where it's difficult, or if you're on a treasure hunt, you don't expect to just find treasure the very first time you look for it. That's why they call it a hunt. You're out there prospecting to find opportunities. And the more experience you get, the more easily it does come to you, or the more you know how to work efficiently, because now you're relying on that experience. I can go back to places where I found things in the past, and I know it increases my chances to find them again. But guys, if you're not selling on Amazon, if you're not doing arbitrage, if you haven't joined our membership, Amazon Arbitrage Mastery, it's time to get started. You're not going to create margin just by watching YouTube videos. We encourage you to take action, get out there and find products, join our membership, click the link below and check it out, and begin to figure out how you can do the things that you love with the people you love. Now, we're doing Q&A. I've taken up enough time with my talk, and so, Allan, let's get to the questions. I see Maui TV, who's awesome. From Hawaii, which is really fun. Someday I'm going to get there. Asking, is a 10K BSR tough to find? I think the answer is yes. I mean, 10K is really low. So sure, it's difficult to find products that have a BSR that low. Now, I have found them. On this program, I've told you before about the Keurig coffee makers that I found, and the BSR on those were like 3,500. It was great, and they sold so fast it made my head spin. But that was an exception. It was rare. But here's the good news. You don't need to find a product that has a 10,000 BSR in order for it to be a quality product. You could find a product that has 110,000 BSR in toys and games, for example, or in home improvement, and it's going to be a great product. We're not advocating you buy 100 of them. So if you bought 2 or 3 of a product that had 110,000 BSR, they're going to sell. They're probably going to sell within a month unless there's extremely high competition. And now you're making money. And the goal with arbitrage is to go wide. And so you're multiplying that. So if you've got thousands of product in your inventory, like Allan does, 2 here, 2 there, boy, that adds up and it multiplies. And that's where you really make your money. So yes, that's a hard BSR to find, but the bar doesn't need to be that low. It can be much higher. We advocate just staying within 1 to 2% of the category.
Yeah, and one of the things that I always recommend is we always like to have the lower, the lower rank possible and the higher profit margin possible. But that doesn't mean that we only have to buy those kind of items, because if you focus on that, but here, okay, I'm scanning and I found something with a little bit higher rank, but but has good margin, I'm gonna sell that as long as it's not a 2 million rank. But if it's if I'm only looking for 10,000 or lower, it's gonna take me longer to find those items. But if I'm looking for 10,000 or lower, but I find a 15,000 or a 25,000, I know that's a good rank, and as long as it has a good profit, then I'm buying that. And it doesn't frustrate you to always be very lenient on your parameters, but to have a base and then from there kind of go around and find other items. I was sharing with the guys on the membership today. I have an item that the rank is 275,000, and I've been able to sell about 25 units every month and a half. It's not a lot, but again, those items are I'm buying them for $4 and I'm selling them for $17. It gives me like a $5.50 or $6 profit, which is over 100% ROI. And of course, that's a product that I don't want to have all of my products at 250,000 rank, but this is one item that it's going to sell constantly as long as I don't get any a lot of competition. And if I have 10 of those items that make me 100% ROI, then I'm compounding all of these efforts and all of these products, and I'm building that daily sale ratio. So that's what I wanted to share with him also. When you're looking only for those items, it's gonna be frustrating because it takes longer.
Yeah, good. So I hope you can see how that you multiply that, and you have all kinds of, if you have that happening hundreds of times, it really adds up to strong profits, strong margin. Here's a question for you, Allan. See if you can crunch the math. Ahan asks, in order to get $4,000 profit in a month, how many items total value do I have in Amazon warehouse for online arbitrage?
Well, I try to make, it's really hard to do this math, because we have in the training, we have a very big formula that kind of gives you that over the, within a 5-month period or 6-month period that you did, Eric. But for me, it's I try to make it very simple. If I can have an average of $10 in profit for each item I sell, of course, some of them are going to be, $5, some of them are going to be $15. And that's why I like to have a different, products from different categories, because some categories have higher profit amounts. But if I can have an average of $10, in profit for each item, I will say in order to sell 4,000, how many we need? If we divide 4,000 divided by 10, you need to sell 400 units. And if you sell 400 units, you need 13 sales a day at $10 on average. Of course, that's very basic math. But if you can get yourself to sell 10 to 15 units a day, where your profit margin average is $10, you're making $4,000 a month. And in order to sell 13 units a day, my estimations based on my experience is I need to have 3 times more that inventory, because I only sell about 30% of my inventory every month. So let's do that math again. You need to have about 45 units. Well, 400 units a month, you need to have about 1,200 units of inventory.
Yep.
To get to that point, overnight is really hard unless you make a really big investment. And, some people have the capacity to do that, but most people are going to build up to that point. And that's what I was telling you. For me, for almost a little bit over 2 years, I was getting to the point where I had, about 1,000 units a month on inventory. So I was selling, 400 every month. Now I kind of crossed that, and I'm building to go to the next level. But for some people, it might take 3 months, 6 months, a year, and some people might stay there for a long time trying to build it up. But that's kind of like the math that I do, just a simple math. I don't know if you agree with that.
No, I think it sounds right to me. I think the average price per item for both you and I is higher. It's probably more like $20 or $25 an item, and you can, try to seek out more expensive items. So, that would make it seem even more doable. But I think what you're saying is right on. So that's realistic. It shouldn't be overly discouraging, because we've constantly said on these programs, it's going to take time. If you're here to duck in for a month or two, do some flips, and then get out with your profit, arbitrage isn't what you want to do. Honestly, selling on Amazon isn't what you want to do. You want to find something else that's a lot quicker. But if you're going to actually build a business, establish an e-commerce business that's going to provide you margin in the future, it's going to take time, but it works. And that helps if you're conservative. If you don't want to dump like $5,000 or $10,000 of investment into something right away, if you're more like me and you want to prove it and see that it works, then arbitrage is really good, because you invest $100 or $200, you send in your product, you make some sales, you get payout back, and then you look at it and you say, wow, that went pretty well. And you take the payout you got and you do it again. And now you're allowing yourself to journey forward, and you're building your inventory. And so I think arbitrage is a good way for you to both develop towards that $4,000 a month, if that's your goal. And it's also good for you to just get confidence under you. And after you do it for a month or two, now you're not as afraid to go after opportunities and to spend a little extra money. And that's when it can really move. And for some of you, it only takes a couple weeks. You're not as risk adverse and you just jump right in. Others, it takes time, but it's a great opportunity. Anna Sir says, how are you? And I say, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day. And my wife is out of state. She's in North Carolina with 2 of our kids. And so I'm here with the other 2. And I've had some sweet time with them, and it's been great. Awesome. Maui TV, any monthly payment offers on the annual plan? There are not. So the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership is a one-time payment for the full year. But again, the price is pretty reasonable in my estimation. And we want to encourage you to be in this for the long haul. And so this is easy for me to say, and it's not as easy for you to feel, but 1 year is really pretty short. And so if you invest in this a year from now, you're going to see how that initial investment was multiplied, and you're going to be thankful that you kind of went through those paces, and that year you had that year to build what you would have after a year. And then you've got the strong foundation to to build on.
Right.
Juan Pablo, hi guys, nice to see you again. I found a product with good ranking in BSR, but when I see the product, no one has the buy box. It just says available from these sellers. Would you buy the product? I'll take this one, and then Alan, I'll give you the next one.
Sure.
So I think when there's no buy box, it maybe can serve as a potential warning. But Juan Pablo, I would likely buy the product. I wouldn't allow the fact that there's no buy box to cause me to just pass up the opportunity. So what Juan Pablo is talking about, and you've probably seen it, there are certain products on Amazon where when you go to the listing, you don't have that immediate opportunity to see the price of the product and then add the product to the cart, which means none of the sellers who are offering that product are winning the buy box. There's not any way for them to immediately click and add to cart in that situation. And that can be an indication of a couple things. First of all, for whatever reason, Amazon's algorithm has been triggered, and it usually has to do with the price being higher than the algorithm likes. Now, as you'll find with everything on Amazon, because they have a gazillion items, there's just going to be mistakes and errors and things that don't make sense. So there's plenty of times where the low price on a product is very reasonable. It's not high at all. And yet, for whatever reason, Amazon has still eliminated the buy box. So that's what's happening. And now for somebody to buy that product, they have to go, they have to click here and go in to find a seller and choose the product that way. So, but that wouldn't deter me from wanting to buy the product if I was convinced it was a good product to sell. One, the buy box might come back sometimes quickly. And two, customers will still purchase that product without the buy box being there. That's absolutely true. Now, sometimes the lack of a buy box will be a legitimate indication that the price is inflated. So I think you want to look into that. If there's only one seller, that's a warning, because realize if Allan's the only guy selling a product, and he can increase the price from $29.95 to $109.95, and that's now the price of the product. And when you scan it, you'll see $109.95, and it might just mean that Allan set that price and it's not actually representative of what the product is worth. And in that instance, it's possible, very possible, that Amazon would eliminate the buy box. So sometimes you'll see that, and it'll just give you pause to do more product research on that item and to see if the price is inflated. And the best way to do that is to use Keepa, which is a tool that we recommend. And in our Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership, we take a deep dive into Keepa and how to really analyze a product over time to avoid inflated prices. But Juan Pablo, if you've got a quality product that has a good BSR, excuse me, and it has good margin, and you've determined it's not just a inflated product, then I would move forward with it. That's what I would do. Mark Krolak, hey, from the UK, welcome with us. I'm just reading through these. Maui says, Juan, I had the same problem. Turned out the price was too high. Once I lowered it, I got the buy box back. So that's another thing. If your margin is really strong, you could buy the product, and if it didn't sell right away, you could lower the price a little. And Maui's right. That will happen. All right, Alan. Ali Holt says, when you do online arbitrage, and just to be clear, Alan, you do online and retail arbitrage together, right?
Yes, we do both.
So when you're doing online arbitrage, do you have them send your product to Amazon FBA? I'm not sure who the them is that Ali's talking about, but speak to that question.
Yeah, it might be talking about when you buy the product, they send it straight to Amazon, and the answer is no. Usually, what the way that we do it is, I buy the product, and sometimes I will send that product to my house so I can receive it in my house, and then I can prep the product, make sure that everything looks good, take off any discount stickers or anything, and make sure that the product looks brand new. Sometimes you have to kind of dust the packaging, or in the shoes, in the case of shoes, we want to make sure that everything looks good, brand new tissue and everything, and then we send it to Amazon. If you're doing online arbitrage outside the US, the best way to do it is use a prep center, which is going to be a company that will receive your product from the stores, let's say from Walmart. They will receive the product in the US. They will check everything, make sure everything looks good, create the shipment under your account, and then send it to the warehouse. You don't want to send products straight from Walmart to Amazon, because you have to do a prep and ship process during, in between. And I know I've heard people that send it straight and Amazon won't take it because they need to know, who is it coming from, and they're not gonna take the time to kind of figure it out. They just don't receive it. So you do want to have that process in between, where either you or a prep center company is gonna receive the product, prep it, and then ship it to the warehouse. So that's the right way to do it, Ollie.
Yeah, and when you're prepping products, so this dragon, I can't just send this in without having it prepared. And so you can already see that I've prepped it. I've put it in a poly bag. Didn't come in one of these when I bought it. Mm-hmm. And, this is going to keep it clean when it's in an Amazon warehouse. And it's a requirement that Amazon gives. And I will take my FN SKU and I will affix it to here. And you also have to have a warning on the bag. Again, these are things that we go in to great detail concerning in our membership. What do you got there, Allan?
I do the same thing with the product. I just put it inside, put the label, and then send it over, because you do have to do that. You do have to do that process of prepping and shipping.
That's right. Yeah. So, and in our membership, we do a deep dive on how to prep your products. We talk about all the tools you need. We have links for all the resources that you need. And if you're an international seller, or if you're somebody who lives outside the U.S. that is thinking about maybe trying to do this, we have a list of over 70 prep centers that you can contact that are in the U.S. And we talk at length about how to get to know prep centers, to hire them, to take advantage of their services. We have a lot of members who live outside the U.S. They shop on .com websites, purchase products, and have them shipped to a U.S.-based prep center. The prep center then preps and ships your product to Amazon Fulfillment Center. And we have a lot of really successful international sellers who are making good money doing everything within the U.S. They've set up a bank account in the U.S. They have a U.S. Visa card, and they're finding a great rate of success. So if you live outside the U.S., now if you're in the U.K., you can do retail arbitrage, and you've got your own system of fulfillment centers. But we have people from all kinds of locations that are taking advantage of what Allan just talked to, and they're finding really good success. So don't think you have to live in, near London or near New York City to make this thing work. It's just not true. Good questions. Keep them coming if you have others. I don't know how to pronounce.
We have a few of them also here on CrowdCast. If you wanna take a look at some of these right here.
Okay, that's good to know. I'll keep moving through what I see on YouTube. Luzine says, what is the best way to get ungated in toys? Any response to that, Allan? An ungating question?
For me, it's building the sales history, because the more sales you have on your Amazon account, Amazon is going to start opening other brands and other products, and it's really hard for Amazon when you're starting up. It's really hard for Amazon to know you're a professional seller, and to start opening brands and other products when you don't have any sales history. So I've seen most people, once they start building that sales history, Amazon is going to start opening brands. And we go through the same process as well. There's a lot of brands that we cannot sell. We just keep trying. We just keep asking Amazon to give us an approval. Sometimes it's going to happen. Sometimes we have to wait a little bit longer. But the more sales you have under your account, the more easy it's going to be to get openings. And I know there's certain services that offer you to get you approval on different brands or categories. And they're all going to have to either show Amazon that you're selling more, or maybe show Amazon that you're approved, or you're buying from a direct distributor or an authorized distributor, which sometimes I know people that have lie on that process, and if Amazon notices that you're lying, that you're saying that you're buying from certain companies and you're not, or you're approved to sell buy these products from certain companies and you're not, you can also get in trouble. So the best thing for me is just building your sales history.
Yeah, I've got a couple of comments on that too. before I get to those, Terry Wilson, I'm not understanding your question. When you say what screen is this, are you talking about what I shared earlier? And I just don't understand your question. Can I use that screen in my FBA account? So maybe you can clarify what your question is. I do think a follow-up, I don't think you need to get ungated in toys. That's not a category that you're restricted from selling in. What you probably need to get ungated in is particular brands. And so that's now where Allan's comments are relevant, because some brands you will be able to sell, some brands you won't be able to sell. By the way, that's the same for me. I've been selling for 5 years. I'm still restricted. There are brands that I used to be able to sell that then now I'm restricted in. I've had brands that I can sell, then I get restricted, then I apply and I'm unrestricted again. I don't know why all that works the way it does, but when it comes to brands, you want to constantly every time you run into a restriction, you want to apply to try to get that removed. It's also relevant if you're a brand new seller that in order to sell toys and games for the fourth quarter during the Christmas season, you have to have reached certain stats. So I don't have the email right in front of me, but Amazon's been sending emails recently, and you have to have established your account and have made a number of sales. You have to have made your first sale by some date in September, and then a certain number of sales, like 25 or 35 sales by a certain date in October. So this is honest based on the Amazon emails that I've gotten, but now is really the best time to get started, because if you jump in now and you sell a product in the toys and games category, and then you make a few sales over the course of the next month or so, you're going to be set up to sell in the fourth quarter, which is hands down the best quarter in the retail market. I mean, the out of my annual numbers, it's between like 30 and 50% all come in just the fourth quarter. So starting Monday, September, October, November, December, man, those 4 months are awesome, particularly the fourth quarter. So that's kind of my thinking when it comes to toys and games.
Loving it. The dates, if you give me a minute, the dates are, you have to have made your first sale before the 15th of September. And then before the 15th of October 15, you have to have made at least 30 sales. It doesn't matter of any category. It's a general level. So you have to have your first sale before September 15 and 30 sales before October 15. But remember, again, that's only if you want to be able to sell toys for Q4. If you don't get to those numbers, you don't have to worry, because you can still sell, home and kitchen. You can still sell, any other category except for the toys and games category. So even if you don't get to those by October 15, you're still gonna be able to sell a lot other categories that you're gonna find a lot of products to sell. Either way.
Yeah, that's very, very right. Loving it. Welcome with us again on this Saturday. Says, hi guys. I know a lot of people who do retail arbitrage at the dollar store, and it's just not quality products. Wonder if they get a lot of returns. I don't know what to say to that. I don't use the dollar store to sell on Amazon, so I don't know about the returns. Allan, have you?
I have used dollar stores. The only thing that I found was that in order to sell the products that you find there, you either have to find people that have already created bundles on Amazon, bundle listings where they sell, instead of selling one item for that you can buy for $1, you buy like a 10 pack or 12 pack, and if you're able to find those listings already on Amazon and they're selling with low BSR, then you can kind of create your own bundles and send them on those listings. But some of the time you have to kind of be creative and kind of build your own bundles, and that's where I see that most people is having success, because they will create their own bundles, but it will take a little bit longer to kind of get those listings, get some traction and start getting some sales. So I tried it for a little while, just being creative and creating my own bundles and putting like a party bundle with Spider-Man, cups and plates and napkins, and it works. We were able to get a lot of sales, but it was a lot more work involved, and we just decided we're not, if we don't find anything that is already on Amazon and it's selling, we're not gonna do anything. And then so that's one thing. A lot of people will have success if they kind of go to the bundle kind of model. And then the other thing is that we found a few of the items on Amazon already selling. And in order to get that bundle, we will have to go, to get some of the items in one store, some of the other items on another store. So we end up just losing, investing a lot of time on that model. We just decided we're just gonna stick to what we know, and it's working fine. And we just didn't have the time to kind of go into that niche.
Yeah, the beauty of arbitrage is you're taking advantage of listings that are already ranking on Amazon and are already giving you evidence that there's a precedent for sales to be made. So I've done the same thing Allan has done. I try in the name of efficiency to just work with really good products that are already selling on Amazon. I don't want to mess around with new listings. Now, if you want to private label a product, you're building that puppy from the ground up, and it's a whole different enterprise. And you've decided it's worth the time and effort because you're going to market your specific branded product. But in arbitrage, yeah, I don't want to get bogged down in that. It's just going to hinder me. I'd rather be spending my time finding better deals that are out there. Mary Jane asks a good question. How do you make a decision on the spot only using your phone? She has Rev Seller and the How Many extension and other tools on her computer, but they're not on your phone. So my answer is you've got everything that you need to know in the Amazon Seller Central app. I'm convinced. So when I'm doing retail arbitrage, I've downloaded that free app. If you have an account set up with Amazon Seller Central, you can download that app, and it will scan and it will tell you all that you need to know. It's going to give you the BSR of the product. It's going to help you calculate the ROI right there. It'll have your FBA fees just like Rev Seller does. And so you can set your preferences in the phone so that every time you scan an item, it takes the lowest selling price and shows you what your profit is after those fees have been deducted. And so now you've got your BSR and you know your ROI or your margin, and you can look at how many sellers there are to compete with and how many of them are FBA, how many are FBM. All that information that you need is right there in the app. The only thing that you might be missing is to be able to do like a history of that product's sales. Now, if you have a membership with Inventory Labs, and you then can use, it's called what, Scoutify?
Scoutify, but I would say, if you have the seller app and then you just go to your to Keepa using the browser, Chrome or Safari, you can just log in. You have to have an account with Keepa in order to get the sales history, and that's pretty much all we use now. We use Scoutify as part of the membership that we have with Inventory Lab, and that's going to give us a little bit kind of like the same information and a different design, but then we have to end up going to Keepa to kind of see and confirm that that's a good product based on the history. Yeah,
and in our Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership, the primary thing that we're focusing on, probably above all else, is how to analyze a product and find a legitimate quality product. So there's a lot of detail that goes into that, and join our membership and get all the details on that, because if you're not analyzing a product well, then you're not making good decisions. You're not making data-driven decisions on your investments. And I think that's where a lot of people get frustrated. They buy a ton of products and they sell them on Amazon, but then they look and they didn't make any money because they weren't finding products with a good ROI. And other details killed their margin. Or they buy a bunch of products and they can't sell them, and it's a BSR related issue, or it has something to do with hazmat and other things, and they just aren't able to make the sales, and now they're frustrated. And so figuring out how to analyze a product is really important, and we want to help you with that. But everything you need is on your phone, Mary Jane, and you can do RA successfully in the store with that phone. Marcelo, welcome from Orlando. You guys be careful down there. Hopefully Dorian doesn't bring too much power. Let's see what else we got here. Maui TV, thanks for the Prep Center list. I'm glad that was helpful. Marcella, again, is there products that are not recommended when doing arbitrage. Can brands break you from selling? Any thoughts to that, Alan? Products that you would recommend not doing?
Not unless I'm not unless you are restricted from buying or selling those products. Otherwise, we try to sell anything that Amazon allows us to sell. And then if you get one of the brands sending you a letter of cease and desist, then you have to make a decision if you want to keep selling those kind of items. I usually try to sell whatever I have, and then I try not to keep selling because I know they're going to be sending me letters. But again, that's just them trying to protect their brand. And if you want to keep selling those items and Amazon is okay with you selling those items, then you can do it and kind of work in a case by case basis when they send you letters. But otherwise, anything that I can sell that I'm approved to sell, I will try to sell it on Amazon as long as Amazon is okay with it.
Yeah, me too.
Let me jump into Crowdcast. I want to answer a few questions here so we don't forget about our members here in
Okay, go for it.
Leslie says, it appears that finding clearance or discounted items at retail stores versus online arbitrage is the best way to find new products at a time. With 40% RA margins after paying Amazon the FBAs, it appears retail arbitrage may be the only way to find the margin that Allan recommends, 40% ROI. Would you agree, Eric?
The RA is the only way to find that?
That doing retail arbitrage is the only way to find 40% ROI on products instead of online arbitrage.
No way. I buy stuff online all the time. In fact, last night, again, I'm a bachelor this weekend, so my kids went to bed at 8, and I was on the computer doing some online arbitrage just by myself, no wife to talk to. And so I'm taking advantage of trying to get a lot of this stuff done. And I probably spent $300 or $400 and found a whole bunch of items doing online arbitrage that had an ROI of greater than 100%. So they're out there. Again, I don't know. I try to bring in examples and show them. They're out there online all over the place. You've just got to find them. So if your goal is 40% or higher, there are lots of opportunities, good opportunities to find products that are going to sell. It's not just retail arbitrage. I kind of like retail arbitrage. It's kind of my favorite. I get out there and I do it, and I find really good deals that way. And sometimes I find deals that are 200 or 300% ROI. But no, I think online arbitrage is very alive. There's a ton of opportunities. I've been buying more products via online arbitrage than I have retail arbitrage. And so there certainly are opportunities out there. Probably the biggest reason why I do more online arbitrage lately is I've just been busy, and I can do it late at night or early in the morning, and it's harder to kind of get out there with the car, although I've been trying to increase that lately and finding good success. So no, I think there's opportunities in both lanes for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna show you this. I just purchased this online. It's a book. It's a used book. It's a pretty big book that I found doing research online. I found it for $28. I paid $28, and it's selling used for $85 on Amazon. So if you apply if you use the calculator on this one, I'm getting about 80% ROI or even higher than that. And it's a used product, so it's not like the ones most of my inventory that I have that I find brand new. But I was just looking at some of the stores, and I found I saw that this bookstore had this product for a very low price compared to Amazon. And you're able to find products. So for me, it's I can do either way and still find items with a very, very high margin. But for me, it's kind of looking at finding the way where I understand what kind of items I should be looking for, and then just focusing on those until I find items that have good profit margin.
Good. All right, let's do a little blitz round here and answer a couple remaining questions as fast as we can. I'll pull one from YouTube. Juan Pablo, been afraid of buying products at garage sales because if he won't have receipts. I think that's a legitimate risk. If you get an IP complaint, you won't have a receipt. But I'm finding that there's IP complaints that I'm stuck on one right now, and Amazon will not undo the complaint even though I have receipts, and I don't know why that is, but I think it's worth the risk, Juan Pablo. Find good deals and don't be paranoid about what might come down the pike. You got a question there, Allan?
Yes. Ashley says, what is the minimum investment you have to have if you have to rely on prep centers? I think it depends on the prep center. You kind of have to find prep centers that will be willing to work with new sellers, because a lot of them will have very high minimums, and some prep centers, depending on how much how busy they are, they will have quantity minimums, and also some of them they will either charge like an application fee or a membership fee. So they can help you. But I was looking at one of the guys right here on YouTube says that they found a prep center in New York that the minimum requirements, it's 85 units a month. That's about 26 units a week. And as long as you are sending 25 units a week, they will work with you. So you really have to just find those kind of prep centers, and we do have a list of about 20 prep centers that we will give you guys. We'll see if we can put the link below in the description. And all you have to do is start calling the prep centers, talking to them, and trying to see which one will be willing to work with somebody that doesn't have to send 500 units a week. But it's just a matter of doing the work, finding that prep center, and then working with them. And for me, I don't, unless you're very limited in funds, I would say 25 items. You have, that's kind of like a minimum that you want to be sending every week. Otherwise, it's going to take you a long time to build your inventory and start getting a lot of sales. So you shouldn't be worried about that, because you do want to get, at least 25 or even more every week. And that should be your goal. Good.
Eric Arrow's asking about, when he tries to send like 5 items into Amazon fulfillment centers, it splits the shipment, and sometimes splits it into 4 or 5 different shipments. And so now you're spending, multiple dollars per product rather than less, because it's more expensive. And that's true. My strategy for that, Eric, is to have more products. So that's not necessarily an easy solution right away, but you want to be sending in more products. I ship between 150 and 200 products. I try every week. And then when my shipping plan splits into 4 different shipments, it's not a big stressor to me. I'm right around 25 to 30 cents per item when I ship. Now I get that it's different if you have less items. But you just want to try to get more opportunities so that you're not just shipping 5 items. I would never recommend shipping 5 items. You should be able to at least get 25 or 30, maybe 40. And if you have to wait a week, it's not the end of the world to be able to do that.
Right.
One more, Allan?
Yeah. Leslie says, what specific tools do you both use to maximize your sourcing products with good margins for retail or online arbitrage? I know for retail, the main tools that we use is going to be either the Amazon app or Spotify, and then Keepa. Those are kind of like the main tools that we use. Now, one thing that we do is everything that we buy in the stores, we're going to double check one more time when we're adding those products to the shipment. So, everything that goes into the shipment, now that we're home and we already have all of our products, we're going to double check, make sure, we look at Keepa, make sure we look at the Rev Seller extension, and make sure that we have the good margins and everything. So for online arbitrage, I would say Rev Seller is one of the main tools, Keepa, and then the Amazon application, or the Seller Central's application. Those are the main tools that I use.
Yeah, and I would say the same thing. You can try tactical arbitrage for a month. It's tricky to use, but it can be helpful as well. And you're not making a long-term commitment. You can just pay for it for 1 month and try it. And then I think they even give you 7 or 10 days that you can use it for free. Right. So that's another option. Last question, Loving It says she's got some PS3 games. They're new, but the shrink wrap is missing. And so I agree with you, Loving It, that I wouldn't sell those as new. Because you can just imagine a customer getting it and he's not going to think it's new. And really there's no way to guarantee that it is. But can you list them under collectible like new? I think you absolutely could. I would want to put them in a poly bag so that they can't come open, so that they're in something secure. And if you can make sales that way, video games can be great. They don't have the same, you don't have to get ungated in the same way you do with like movies. And so I've sold video games and had good success with them. They're small, they're light, they're pretty popular, and sometimes you can get good money for them. So I think that would be a great strategy. And depending on how many are being offered new and kind of what the demand is, you may or may not be able to sell them as collectible. But I think it would be worth a try. And that's an item that you could list FBM. They're light, they're under a pound. You could ship it anywhere without having to pay a lot, and that would be a little testing ground. Unless you're competing with a ton of FBA sellers, and then you would probably want to just send them in. But well, we've covered another hour. We love doing arbitrage Q&A. We're really glad that you guys joined us. It's fun to have a full hour worth of questions. You guys ask good questions. We've got a thoughtful viewing audience, and I'm encouraged that you could be experiencing the same margin that we're experiencing. I'm not rolling around in $20 bills or anything silly like that, but I've been able to purchase a home. I was able to get out of debt. I'm working hard at trying to develop increased margin so that I can reach my next goal and take a significant whack at the mortgage that we're paying on. And I'd like to take my family to Disney. And there's always goals that we have. And I'd love for you to experience that. And I'm convinced that this is a great way. So click the link below. Check out Amazon Arbitrage Mastery. Tune in. Again, next week, we'll be right here at noon Central Standard Time. Next Saturday, it's going to be September. I can't believe the summer is flying by. But, Allan, thanks as always for joining us. You're so good at what you do, so I appreciate your time with us today.
Thank you, man. I'm happy to be here. And again, guys, just keep working on, starting your business. And if you already started, just keep working on building your inventory. And if you guys need any help, you let us know. We have a great community. And you'll be happy to invest in the Just One Dime training. And if you like these videos, click like on the YouTube video and share it with your friends. And that way you can help us reach out more people that might be interested in starting their own Amazon business. And we'll be here to help you out and answer any questions next week.
All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you later. Take care.
Bye-bye.